Unlocking hidden deals, the way to get off-market real estate deals for free before anybody else does. And today I'm going to be dropping one of my favorite techniques that you can use right away to get sellers to reach out to you for free. Now, guys, these are inbound leads. There's two types of leads you can get, which are inbound or where you're calling somebody. And my favorite strategy forever is always to generate inbound leads. So for 2025, this is the strategy that we're going really, really heavy on. And here's how you can do it for free. We're going to talk about how to generate leads in any part of the country. You could even do it anywhere in the world, but how to do it anywhere in this country for free. So the first thing you're going to need to do, you're going to need to have a personal Facebook page. Costs you $0. It is absolutely free. This is going to be a personal Facebook page. You don't need anything else other than that. But here's the deal. If you don't have one, create one. If you already have one, it's time to do a little quick audit before we start doing the next step. What do I mean by an audit? You got to look through your personal Facebook page. Is the main picture a picture of you that's clear, hopefully with a smile? Or is it a picture of your dog or your cat or, a ladder? Don't matter, right? People are going to be doing business with you, so they're going to have to see who they're doing business with. If you want your leads to come in at a higher rate, you're going to need to have a picture of yourself. I think mine is a picture of myself with my wife, blue background, super basic, right? I also will go through the rest of my Facebook page to make sure there's nothing on there. I know I had a client before who had a whole bunch of pictures of him when he was in college, doing stuff, right? So he got rid of some of those things on there and just clean it up a little bit. That's a little housekeeping tip. So what happens is you're going to join Facebook groups is going to be your next step. So after you find out if I live in Orlando, Florida, or maybe I don't, it doesn't matter, but maybe I want to target Orlando, Florida. I'm going to Facebook. I'm going to go into the search bar. I'm going to type in the words Orlando, Florida. I'm going to hit search. Now what it's going to have is a list of choices. I could look for posts named that, Orlando. I can look for pages, groups, all these different options. I'm going to click groups. So on my personal Facebook page, I've dusted it off. I've gone to the search bar. I put in the city I want to buy in. I hit search. I'm going to click on the groups. Now here are all of these groups in Orlando, Florida. And if you look at the population of each group, how many people are in that group, some of these groups, guys, have over 100,000 people in them. Some have 50, 60,000 people in them. Some only have a few hundred, right? So what am I going with here? I'm going to join the groups not based on the topic of the group. I'm basing it on the size of the amount of people inside of the group. So what do I mean? Every group that has 10,000 people or more in it, I'm joining. I'm joining all of them. It could be a babysitting group. It could be a yard sale group, a garage sale group, moving to Orlando group, I love Florida group. All of them don't matter. Orlando singles, looking for other Orlando singles, right? Because maybe somebody found love and they have an extra house now they need to sell. So I'm going to join all of these groups. Now that does take a little time. Some of the admins are a little slower of letting you in. Some you're in right away, right? So you're going to want to join as many as you can. And where I'm going with this is you need to be in a minimum of 100 groups, which I could join 25 in about 5 minutes. Okay, so this doesn't have to be done all the first day, but I'm going to join all these groups, probably 25, 30 of them the first day. I'll probably do it even again the next day. Even the next few days, I'm going to be joining groups like crazy. And I'm not joining just Orlando. Orlando has a lot of little towns around it, Kissimmee, Florida, Davenport, Florida, all these other, I'm joining them too. So it's not just the main city. It's going to be all the surrounding towns and cities close by. So by the time I do that, there's more than enough groups. It's like 82% of people in the US are on Facebook. So there's a great way to connect with all of the locals. Now, maybe not everybody lives in Orlando who are in those groups, but the big masses usually are. So now what did I do? Have a Facebook page, cleaned it up, got my smile, clear picture of who I am. On my own Facebook page, I'm joining these groups, and now the fun is about to start. And I can do all of these things I just talked about in under half an hour. This takes only half an hour out of your busy day. So after I've done this on my own personal page, I'm going to make a post that's open to the public. And you could tell that because when you make the post, you can make it a private post or a public post. This post is going to be open to the public. And that post is going to say, that I'm looking to buy a rental in 2025. If anybody sends me a property that I buy, I'll pay you a $500 finder's fee or a $1,000 finder's fee. And the purpose of that is two things. A, your friends and family are going to all like it. Maybe some even comment on that, right? You might even get a deal. I know lots of people, they get their first deal just by doing that one thing simple, letting their friends and family know what they do. You'd be surprised how many people will help you out and send you a seller that maybe do a deal. I've done this myself. But after I'm posting that, and the reason why I do is because next I'm going to go into my Facebook groups, all of those groups that I just joined. Now, the key here is consistency. You have to do this consistent. So 4 or 5 groups a day. Once again, I told you I'm joined 100, but I'm not posting in 100 a day. Don't do that. Facebook will slap you in the hand and say, you're spamming too much. Don't do that. So I like to fly under the radar. What that means is don't get in their spotlight. How do I do that? I only post into 4 or 5 groups a day. But my groups I post in might have 30, 40, 50,000 people, 100,000 people some of these groups have. So if you post into 5 of those a day, you could be your message in front of a few 100,000 people for free in a day. So when I go into those groups and I'm going to make a post, it's very crystal clear. Now I'm going to give you exactly what I do. If you're listening, write this down or rewind this, but keep it exactly the same. If you change it, I've cross-tested this many times. This seems to get the best results. I just simply type, does anyone have a house for sale that's not market ready? I'm looking to buy one in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I might even change that. Say I'm looking to buy one in the next 2 to 3 months. I might say my wife and I are looking to buy one in the next 2 to 3 months or 2 to 3 weeks. But the topping, does anyone have a house for sale that's not market ready? The last sentence, I can maybe slight variations of that, but that's all. It's super short. It's super simple. It's crystal clear. A 3rd grader could read that and kind of get an idea of what's going on. So it's really easy peasy lemon squeezy what we do with this. And that's really important is keep it simple. Don't make it too lengthy, too wordy. Nobody will read that much of it. And it kind of like they just glance by it. Really short, they'll stop on it more. Now, before you hit submit and put that post out there, with Facebook, you could actually make the background of the post where the words are a different color. I like the blue, I like the pink, there's the green, but whatever color you choose, it really makes it pop out. When people are scrolling and they see this come across their feed, they tend to slow down and read that more than just regular text. By doing the split test, I've realized we get a lot more people when I make it blue, especially like pink, because they stand out. People are reading it. Now, here's what's going to happen next. You're going to have people start reaching out to you. They're either going to do one of two things. They're going to send you a direct message. This is a message sent personally to you. Now, when this happens, you have to check your spam box because if you're not friends with them already on Facebook, there's a special like spam box these messages go to. And unbeknownst to me, I didn't know that box existed in the beginning. And then when I finally found it and I opened it up and I had like hundreds of people where I just never saw their message. There was tons of them in there. So got to clean that up. But this is the spot you're going to check because some people, they're going to see your post, but they just might send you a direct message saying, I do have a house I want to sell. They might not want to put it on the forum. But on the split side of that, some people just write a comment right on your post. I want to sell my house. One of my favorite ones, we had a lady in Florida. She writes on there 900,000 and it's yours. Now, that seemed like a lot of money for the house, but when we looked it up, it was probably a $1.8 million property. We did the deal, right? So these leads are going to come in either as a direct message to you, or they're going to leave a comment on your post. So here's the 2 strategies that I really like to do. If they leave a comment, underneath it, I hit reply. I write sending you a message with a smiley face emoji, and then I send them a message. And the speed to lead is important. So if somebody's reading or leaving a comment or writing a message, you want to get back to them as soon as possible, ideally under 5 minutes. But after I'm doing this now, what's happening? I have people leaving comments. I have people DMing me. Now it's time to start having conversations. The thing I love about Facebook, it is so easy for anybody to do. The challenge for me when I first got started was like, I have to pick up the phone now and talk to these people. And it got scary. So what we've learned was, the first handful of messages are all done right through Messenger. It's really easy. Thank you so much for reaching out. Can you please tell me about your property? Why are you thinking of selling it? How soon do you want to sell? What's your phone number, right? So now I know their phone number, I know the address, I know why they want to sell it, I know how soon they want to sell it. Now here's where I could get on a call, right? And I just got that lead for free. I didn't have to spend any money. It takes me 5 minutes to post into a couple of groups a day. That's really it. So the consistency is what we always preach about in our program, is posting into 5 groups a day, 5 to 6 days a week. And then if you do that through every single week, through every single month, at the end of the year, you would have had hundreds of conversations, if not thousands of conversations for free. You're going to be generating a lot of leads, and there's just potential all over. Now, some of these leads come in and it could be a wholesale deal where it's a house where it's a fixer upper, and I could find a cash buyer or I could buy it and fix and flip it. But then all of these people have these nice houses that are really motivated where they're not going to take some big discount. Well, I could offer them terms where I could buy it with owner financing or buy it with a wrap, right? If they have an existing mortgage, I could buy it and that mortgage will stay in their name. Chances are because they have a really low interest rate and probably a really good payment. So these are what we're doing, is we're attracting leads by the masses. We're going to ask some questions initially, and then we're going to find out motivation. So for an example, on the first question, thanks so much for reaching out. Can you please tell me about the property? They might tell you, hey, I'm getting divorced. I'm moving out of state. I need to have it sold right away. Like sometimes they just really open up. And I've realized those people, I'm definitely getting on the phone with them. Believe it or not, I've had people tell me, what would you give me for a 2,000 square foot house in this zip code? Like they won't even give me the address. So maybe there was something they don't know, like, or trust, because that's why they're not giving you their address. But it is people, you're talking to strangers online. So maybe I understand that too. But if they're not terribly motivated, we kind of move away from them pretty quickly and really spend time with the most motivated sellers. So if I'm targeting Orlando, Florida, which is a great market too, I'm putting my posts in there regularly. There's all the suburban towns. So once again, I'm posting into 4 or 5 of these groups every single day, 5, 6 days a week. So if you could do the math, that's 30 groups, 25, 30 groups in a week times a month of doing that. That's 100 groups. So this is why you really want to get great at finding all of the groups. Good news is on Facebook, I believe they have over 10 million different Facebook groups. So where chances are running out are slim to none. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm in a little over 1,000 groups myself personally. And these strategies are working for us in Florida. It works in New York. It works all over the country, even in other places around the world. So if you're in Canada, you're in other countries, and you want to do this, join the Facebook groups. Put the post out there. It doesn't cost you $1. You're going to have motivated sellers reaching out to you. No more door knocking. No more cold calling, bothering somebody. No more spending thousands of dollars on sending people direct mail and then having them call you back just to get a 0.5% response rate of actually real leads, not people who call you back because, that's slightly higher, but half of them will call you from direct mail, want to know how you got their information. So your actual leads are about 0.5% when you're doing direct mail. So this is why, once again, you spend thousands of dollars sending out 2,000 letters just to get 10 leads. That's a lot of money just to get 10 leads. I could get 10 leads today. I like direct mail. I've done deals from direct mail, but once you do print it out and pay the printer and then mail them and then wait for these people to call you, it could be weeks between you wanting to talk to a seller before you actually get to talk to one. And this is, once again, why I love this Facebook strategy, because if I join groups today, some will let me in, some just won't, or it'll take a little time. So I'm joining a whole bunch of them. I can put my posts out into those groups a few hours later once I get in them. I could be generating leads by dinner time. I could be talking with sellers today in Orlando. And then maybe I also want to buy in Cleveland, Ohio. Well, I could also join groups in Cleveland, Ohio. It works everywhere. So once again, have your personal Facebook page, clean her up, make it look like you, smiles, right on there that you buy houses and you're looking for a rental in 2025. So hopefully your friends and family all give you that green light and they love you, and maybe you'll get a deal that way too. And then start posting into groups. Because if you were to buy something from somebody on Facebook Marketplace, you're going to probably check out who they are first, right? Make sure you're not meeting somebody in a parking lot to buy an end table and you want to kind of know who you're dealing with. Well, if they're thinking of selling you their house, they're going to check you out too. So make sure it looks crystal clean. put these posts out there religiously, do it consistently all of the time. And before you know it, you're going to be having conversations with motivated sellers. And guys, when you have a real estate business, if you're going to want to do real estate deals, the number one most important thing is that you have to have leads come in. And that's probably the number one biggest challenge with all real estate investors is how do I get leads? How do I find these people? Well, guys, you just learned how to do it for free, taking a few minutes a day without spending a dime ever. And I've got clients all around the country in our coaching program. This is what we teach, have leads pouring out of their eyeballs. They're doing deals consistently, just spending maybe an hour a day, having some conversations, get on the phone with the really good, happy, motivated sellers. And before you know it, you got yourself a deal too. So once again, favorite strategy while you're just getting started, after you get some systems in place and you want to grow a little bit more, maybe you can run some sponsored ads, but not now. Now is not the time. If you're just starting out, free is for me, and it is the best way to get started. So if you're looking to get your first rental in 2025, this also works for your primary residence too. I've had people do that, do the post, and they've found their own house they're living in from this post. So if you're rather looking to buy your own home or most likely going to be a rental property in 2025, off market, direct to seller, free leads is the hidden secret that now I am sharing with you. So go post, go dust off your Facebook page. If you have any questions, shoot a message or drop a comment down below, and we'd love to help. Have a good one.